Now, when you're talking about something like a dissertation, does the problem statement become even more critical?
Oh, definitely. For a dissertation, it's like the cornerstone. Everything else, the research questions, the methods, everything flows directly from that problem statement.
So it has to be super focused.
Exactly. If it's too broad or kind of vague, the whole project can become unmanageable. And remember, the aim of the research is usually to provide knowledge towards a solution, not necessarily solve the whole problem itself. Practitioners often do the solving part.
Right. So what are the absolute must-do functions for a dissertation problem statement then?
Well, it needs to clearly specify and describe the problem using citations to show it's a real documented issue.
Evidence.
Yes. Then, explain the negative consequences if the problem isn't addressed. And finally, spell out the knowledge gap, what critical information is missing that your research will provide.
That gap justifies the research.
Precisely. A proper research problem for a dissertation is specific, evidence-based, it's a real-life issue, and it has significant negative consequences for someone.
Like the example you mentioned before about the low number of female CEOs.
Exactly. You could state the problem. The problem is the low percentage of female CEOs in Fortune 500 companies, citing the evidence.
Specific and real.
Then the consequence. Maybe significant barriers preventing women from reaching executive roles, and the gap. Perhaps there's a lack of deep understanding about how implicit bias affects hiring decisions on male-dominated boards.
Making it research-worthy.
Check out the other videos by Research with Lynn.
Okay, so how might someone structure this? Say, for a dissertation, is there a template?
There are different ways, but one common approach, aiming for maybe 250, 300 words, is start by clearly stating the problem with recent evidence.
The problem to be addressed is.
Right. Then explain the negative consequences, again with evidence and stats if possible. Finally, explain the knowledge gap. What do we still need to know? What hasn't previous research answered?
Problem, consequences, gap. Nice and clear. So if we were to boil it down to, say, 5 key steps for writing any good problem statement.
Okay, 5 steps. First, identify the core problem. Really pin it down.
Step 1, find the problem.
Second, provide context. Background info, what's known, the literature review stuff, identifying gaps.
Step 2, context is king.
Third, state the significance. Why does this matter? Who is affected? What are the implications? Urgency? Benefits of solving it.
Step 3, make the case, why bother?
Fourth, define the scope. What are the boundaries? What won't you address? Keep it manageable. State the overall goal.
Step 4, scope it out. Don't bite off more than you can chew.
And fifth, propose clear objectives or questions. Specific goals, maybe research questions or hypotheses that guide the actual study.
Step 5, what will you actually do?
Follow those, and you should have a pretty clear and compelling statement. And it has to be consistent with everything else, the aim, objectives, questions.
Makes perfect sense. Consistency is crucial.
So just to quickly recap the absolute must-haves for an effective problem statement.
Okay. Clearly define the issue. Explain its significance and context. Be specific, concise, no ambiguity.
Right.
Make sure it aligns with your research objectives and is relevant to the field. Use evidence. And clearly state the scope and potential implications, especially for those affected. How does it impact them? And why is fixing it important?
Excellent. That really covers it.
Yeah, it's the map for the whole research journey, really.
This has been super helpful. It really underscores how framing that initial problem sets the stage for everything that follows, not just in academic research, but maybe anywhere we're trying to solve something complex.
Absolutely. Getting the problem right is half the battle.
This is brought to you by Research with Lynn. And for you listening, if you found this useful, definitely hit that subscribe button for more deep